Hello everyone. Today we will discuss in this video about the hospital formulary in the subject pharmacy practice BP 703 TT. So first we will consider what is hospital pharmacy. See, the hospital pharmacy, it is a continuous revised compilation of pharmaceutical dosage agents. That means here in hospital pharmacy we are compiling one of the data that is regarding the pharmaceutical dosage form and also regarding their active pharmaceutical ingredient, or we can say about the generic product and their forms, which reflects the current clinical judgment of the medical staff. That means such a formulary, it will show the path to use the particular product for the clinical judgment or for the use of medical staff. So we can say hospital formulary, that is very much important part in any hospital. Again, we are defining one more definition regarding this. The hospital formulary system is a method whereby the medical staff of a hospital, with the help of pharmacy and therapeutic committee, which is also known as PTC, selects and evaluates medicinal agent and their dosage forms which are considered to be most useful in the patient care. That means here in hospital formulary we are developing one of the book, we can say, that is known as a hospital formulary, which uses, or the formulary that will be developed by pharmacy and therapeutic committee, that is known as a PTC, and which can evaluate and which can select which are the important medicinal agent and their dosage forms. That means here dosage form, that means we can consider about the tablet, syrup, injection, syrup, suspension or emulsion, like that dosage forms also we are mentioning over here, and which will be always useful in the patient care, and this will be useful especially to the doctors. They can see over here in hospital formulary which product that is available in the hospital and which are the ingredient or which are the drugs that is used for a particular disease. So by that way we can say hospital formulary, that is very much important aspect in any hospital. तो यहाँ पे हॉस्पिटल फॉर्मूलरी को डेवलप कैसे करना है, या फिर हॉस्पिटल फॉर्मूलरी क्यों उसकी जरूरत है और क्या क्या चीज इसमें होनी चाहिए, दैट वी विल डिस्कस इन दिस वीडियो ट्यूटोरियल. सी व्हाई हॉस्पिटल फॉर्मूलरी नॉट हैवर्ड. देखिए यहाँ पे कुछ ऐसी चीज भी है in India. If we are considering the hospital formulary, that is little bit controversial, because यहाँ पे क्या है कि इंडिया में नेशनल फॉर्मूलरी ऑफ इंडिया that is present in our country, but somehow due to certain reason physicians, or we can say the hospital, they are not accepting the hospital formulary. So reason अगर हम यहाँ देखें reason, तो it deprives the physicians of his right to prescribe and obtain the brand of his choice. मतलब यहाँ पे क्या है कि फिजिशियन अपना खुद का ब्रांड या फिर कौन सी मेडिसिन देनी है, that can not selected by the physicians. and यहाँ पे क्या होगा कि PTC जो भी प्रिस्क्राइब करेगा, या फिर PTC whatever the drug that has been included in the hospital formulary, that only the physician has to prescribe. लेकिन यहाँ पे क्या है, इसलिए physician they do not have their own choice. Then it permits the pharmacist to act as the sole judge of which brand of drug are to be purchased and dispensed. देखिए यहाँ पे बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि फार्मासिस्ट खुद, मतलब he will take the judgment of the hospital that which brand should be taken in hospital, which brand should be purchased from the manufacturer and which should be dispensed. तो ये थोड़ा कंट्रोवर्शियल है. देखिए यहाँ पे फार्मासिस्ट अगर खुद चॉइस करेगा तो देयर माइट बी द चांसेस द सिस्टम दैट अलाउज फॉर द परचेज ऑफ इंफीरियर क्वालिटी देयर माइट हैपन. और अगर यहाँ पे पीटीसी है, अगर फार्मेसी थेरेप्यूटिक कमिटी है, तो यहाँ पे गुड क्वालिटी ऑफ ब्रांड दैट माइट बी परचेज. सो द सिस्टम डज नॉट रिड्यूस द कॉस्ट ऑफ द ड्रग टू द पेशेंट. दूसरी एक चीज ये भी है कि सिस्टम जो पूरा डेवलप होगा अगर हॉस्पिटल फॉर्मूलरी जो जनरल अगर जो NFI यूज हो रही है या फिर खुद अपनी हॉस्पिटल फॉर्मुलरी अगर किसी के पास नहीं है, तो जनरली क्या होगा कि ड्रग जो कॉस्ट में आएगा, देखिए ड्रग है यहाँ पे चीपर कॉस्ट में आएगी, लेकिन जो भी प्रॉफिट है दैट विल बी एक्वायर्ड बाय द हॉस्पिटल, मतलब द चीपर रेट दैट विल नॉट बी ट्रांसफॉर्म टू द पेशेंट. See, that's why in some case hospital formulary that is very much important, or in some case the people or the physician they are not accepting the hospital pharmacy because they do not have the brand of their choice. तो ये दोनों चीजें यहाँ पे एडवांटेज भी है, डिसएडवांटेज भी है कि यहाँ पे कॉस्ट भी रिड्यूस नहीं हो रही है तो कोई बेनिफिट नहीं होगा. तो इसके लिए क्या क्या करना होगा कि कोई भी हॉस्पिटल है, they have to develop one of the PTC. PTC, that means Pharmacy Therapeutic Committee. It will be developed, Pharmacy Therapeutic Committee, they will select most suitable types of drug and their formulation. Drug should be cost effective. देखिए यहाँ पे जो भी cost हम उनकी रखते हैं तो it should be cost effective to the patient and also it should be cost effective to the hospital. तो Pharmacy Therapeutic Committee का यहाँ पे रोल ये है कि ऐसी ड्रग पहले तो सिलेक्ट करनी है जो प्रॉपर यूज में हो, जिसको जो भी फिजिशियन है वो यूज कर सकते हैं, या फिर दे हैव टू कंसल्ट द फिजिशियंस आल्सो एंड आल्सो दे हैव टू कंसल्ट द फार्माकोलॉजिस्ट, एंड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट दे हैव टू सिलेक्ट द पर्टिकुलर ड्रग, और ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट द PTC they have to include any drug into the hospital formulary. Now, what is the preparation of the formulary? See, preparation of hospital formulary is the principal responsibility of the pharmacy and therapeutic committee. Now they have to decide, PTC over here they will decide what type of publication should be used, whether it will be a hospital's own formulary, मतलब खुद की हॉस्पिटल अपनी फॉर्मुलरी यूज कर रही है, या फिर they have to use the simple or they want to use simple list of drug. देखिए simple list भी बना सकते हैं, और a catalog or a purchase formulary service. देखिए purchase formulary service, that means we can say we can use directly, we can implement directly N.F.I, or we can use that the drug list that is given by the state government. For example, in Gujarat, the government that is giving the essential list of the drug. So likewise, the hospital by their own they have to decide this thing. Now PTC should follow the rules and also the guideline to evaluate the drugs for admission to the formulary or the list of drugs. मतलब यहाँ पे PTC को अगर कोई ड्रग अगर इंक्लूड करनी है, then they have to follow the proper rules and also they have to follow the proper guideline, and उनको evaluate करनी पड़ेगी ड्रग को, and what is the local use of particular drug, परचेज कैपेसिटी क्या है. अगर हम यहाँ पे कोई प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल है तो उनको ये भी देखना चाहिए कि पेशेंट की परचेज कैपेसिटी क्या है. सो बाय दिस थिंग वी कैन प्रिपेयर वन ऑफ द फॉर्मुलरी, एंड अगेन दिस इज द डिसीजन ऑफ द हॉस्पिटल ओनली. तो हॉस्पिटल यहाँ पे खुद डिसाइड करेंगे कि क्या करना है. अब अगर यहाँ पे फॉर्मुलरी डेवलप हो रही है या फिर फॉर्मुलरी दे आर डेवलपिंग, देन द रोल शुड बी गिवन टू द PTC. See, now in the preparation of formulary, if we are considering, so first or very important thing, we should start with the section on prescription writing. देखिए formulary जब आप start कर रहे हो, PTC when they will starting, तो यहाँ पे क्या है कि intern doctor है तो उन सबको prescription writing के लिए कौन कौन सी चीज include करनी चाहिए, फिर prescription में किस तरीके से लिखना है. So this section it should also be included in the formulary. Section governing the use of drug, what is the use, then section on diagnostic reagent and normal pathological investigational reagent, then section on pharmacological classification. देखिए बहुत सारे डॉक्टर हैं, they are prescribing the drug on the basis of a pharmacological classification. So pharmacological classification that should also be included, which is good guideline for the pharmacist and also for the nurses. Poison and their antidotes, posological tables, this is important for the calculation purpose. Other useful data and features, for example tables of metric weights and measure and their equivalent and equivalency in the apothecary system, and also the household measures. Generally we are taking 1 tablespoonful, so the household measures that should be included in a formulary. Then it should also be decided at the outset as to what sort of format should the formulary adopt and how should be used. So that means यहाँ पे formulary जब preparation हो रही है तो what should be the size that need to consider, then whether we need to go for a loose leaf or bounded. देखिए दोनों की यहाँ पे पर्सनल अलग अलग एडवांटेज है. The advantage of the format, that means the loose leaf, that is the addition and deletion of the pages of various section and or main body of the drug list, that is possible. अगर यहाँ पे loose leaf में हम बाउंड करते हैं तो loose leaf करते हैं अगर तो क्या होगा कि we can remove any drug or we can remove any section and we can add further any section. Then printed or cyclostyle, printed copy directly in a printing press, or cyclostyle, that means we can use the copy of the original. Then categorizing and indexing, to what extent. देखिए यहाँ पे categorize करना है, drug को categorize करना है, whether we want to do categorizing or indexing on the basis of alphabetical order, or we need to consider the pharmacological action. So likewise we when we are preparing any formulary, so at that time we need to consider about the categories and indexing also. So these are the main point we need to consider when we are going for the preparation of the formulary. Now formulary versus drug list. देखिए यहाँ पे कुछ confusion है. बहुत बार formulary अगर use हो रही है तो उसमें क्या क्या चीज होनी चाहिए. ड्रग लिस्ट है तो ड्रग लिस्ट दैट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग. सो व्हाट शुड बी इंक्लूडेड ओवर हियर. सो वी कैन नॉट यूज ऑलवेज ड्रग लिस्ट दैट इज अ इक्विवेलेंट टू फॉर्मुलरी. ड्रग लिस्ट इट कंटेन्स द डिफरेंट थिंग. सो अ फॉर्मुलरी usually consists of a listing of therapeutic agent by their generic name followed by the information on a strength, form, posology, toxicology, use and recommended quantity to be dispensed. Whereas a drug list on the other hand usually consists of listing of therapeutic agent by their generic name followed by data on a strength and form. मतलब ड्रग लिस्ट में हमें कम इंफॉर्मेशन मिलेगी. There may or may not be any additional information in case of drug list. So compared to formulary, we have less information in case of drug list. Formulary में complete उनका जो भी generic name है, strength, form, posology, toxicology, use, and what is the recommended quantity that should be included in the formulary. One more difference we need to consider when we are preparing about the hospital formulary. First thing, that is the hospital formulary, and one another thing, that is the adopted formulary. देखिए hospital formulary, that means they are prepared locally by its own clinical staff, and it creates determination to make it a success with a sense of pride and loyalty. That means one hospital they are preparing by their own, so they can pride on this hospital formulary, and the staff or the clinical staff of their own hospital they are preparing this, so there will be the chances of loyalty that will be increases over here. Whereas adopted formulary मतलब हम directly we are taking from the state government or from the central government, that is known as a adopted formulary. Here we can include as adopted formulary N.F.I we can adopt directly, and also N.F.I they are preparing the particular formulary on the basis of WHO guideline. So first, the adopted formulary, it is compiled and prepared by the country's outstanding clinician, pharmacologist and pharmacist. So this is main difference. This is all over India. We are working on an India level, whereas we are considering the particular hospital, and we are considering about the particular region. Now its content with respect to the amount of information provided under each monograph are subject to local needs and desire. मतलब local need क्या है उसके basis पे हम यहाँ पे decide करेंगे. It may include the section on related clinical matter which are characteristic to the local hospital. लोकल हॉस्पिटल का जो यूज है, लोकल हॉस्पिटल का जो भी यूज है उसके मुताबिक यहाँ पे हमें हॉस्पिटल फॉर्मुलरी डेवलप करनी है. Whereas in case of adopted formulary, the drugs are classified and categorized according to their pharmacological properties. They may also be coded. यहाँ पे one coding sequence we can use according to the pharmacological action and their therapeutic indication. So we can say this is a specialized form, or we are using over here in case of adopted formulary about the pharmacological properties. We are classifying the drug according to their pharmacological properties. Then hospital formulary, it may be published in a more convenient size and format. देखिए यहाँ पे convenient size and format अगर consider करें तो hospital की personal need क्या है, hospital को कौन सी drug use करनी है, कौन सी medicine they have to prescribe to the patient, accordingly they can convert the hospital formulary in a particular size as well as in a particular format. मतलब उनको जो भी format चाहिए, कई बार हैंडमेड हाथ में रह जाए इतनी छोटी, या फिर पॉकेट में आप रख सकते हैं, इतनी छोटी भी हॉस्पिटल फॉर्मुलरी आप पब्लिश कर सकते हैं. Whereas in case of adopted formulary in the N.F.I, there is a pharmacological action, toxicology that is given on the basis of classes of drug rather than for individual product. So that's why the list will be more lengthy, or we can say more and more drugs that will be included. So this will be the bigger in the size. So that these are the difference we can consider in between the hospital formulary as well as in between adopted formulary. Here as adopted formulary we can use directly N.F.I, or also we can use another drug list that is given by the state government. In case of Gujarat, they are also giving one of the drug list, and accordingly that is used in the hospital. If we are considering in a primary, secondary and tertiary hospital, accordingly the list or the formulary that is used in India. We discussed regarding this in the previous lecture regarding the use, or we have discussed regarding this about in the section of essential products. Then hospital formulary versus N.F.I. First we need to consider the hospital formulary. Let's see what is the format of the hospital formulary. See, this is one of the hospital formulary. It includes the list of drug, chemicals and dressing material. This is prepared by the Department of Pharmacy, Government Medical College Hospital, Chandigarh. This is one of the compiled by the J.T. Khurana. He is the person. He is the M.Pharmacy in pharmaceutics. See how this one is the person who have been engaged over here, mainly the pharmacist. They are engaged to prepare this list, and this one is the indexing. See, on the basis of pharmacological categories, the list is prepared, and accordingly the guidance has been given. See, over here they have included it regarding the drugs and common side effect. Here the drug that is used in the hospital, and they have given about the side effect. See, the only thing, this thing have been mentioned, and only these things that has been included in the hospital formulary that is prepared by one of the hospital in the Chandigarh. So less information we can say is compared, if we are comparing with the N.F.I, then this will give the less information. For example, here one of the drug indomethacin, then they have prescribed the common side effect that is related to this. Then let's see the website of IPC. See, Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. देखिए अभी नेशनल फॉर्मुलरी ऑफ इंडिया, उसके बारे में थोड़ा हम जान लेते हैं. व्हाट इज द हिस्ट्री. देखिए द IPC, Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, with its mission to be one of the leading scientific institutions under the central government, puts stress on keeping transparency, accountability and punctuality and the publication of the N.F.I. And N.F.I, if we are considering, then first it was published in 1960, then 1966, this was the second edition, then afterwards 1979, the third edition, See, after long time, then it was prepared in a 2011. See, due to the controversy, it takes such a time. 2011, that was the fourth edition, and now whatever in India it is used, that is 2016, and this is the fifth edition. So you should have such a knowledge. So when the N.F.I that has been published, and this is the website regarding the N.F.I. Here you can access, you can purchase also on the website of Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. It has been given. Now we will see the national formulary. One of the example I put it over here. That is one of the national formulary 2011. 2016. You have to purchase this, but N.F.I 2011 that is available on the website. So we will see what data they have included in the N.F.I. See this one, N.F.I National Formulary of India. This is 2011. See the manner or the thing we can say that this will be N.F.I. It will be in a very decent manner, as it is published by the Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and also IPC. This one is a fourth edition. See the classification. They have given the preface, acknowledgement. They have included the list of medicine in N.F.I, common abbreviation, general advice to prescriber. Then they have, on the basis of pharmacological action, they have made the classification. You can see over here. Then they have included different appendix, antimicrobial resistance, calculation, common laboratory parameter, disposal of unused or expired pharmaceutical product, drug and poison information center in India, drug interaction. See over here, this is very much important thing. Drug used in a special condition. So many things they have included. Storage of drugs, therapeutic drug monitoring, that is also included over here. How the N.F.I review process, how they are reviewing the N.F.I, how they are preparing. Then on the alphabetical order, they have also mentioned about that drug. See over here, we will see one of the example, alphabetical directly, and the page number that is also given over here. We will see one example, AB61. Directly it will reflect the particular page. See over here, they have provided the information regarding indication, availability, dose, which are the dose, contraindication, precaution, adverse effect, storage. So many things they have included, or we can say if we are considering it compared to hospital formulary, then more information will be available with the National Formulary of India. But again, there are some limitations. We are considering this limitation because that's why the doctor, they are not preferring to use N.F.I. Now, the guiding principle for admitting or deleting of drug, we will see it should be established whether the local general or specialist has considered the drug to be proven clinical value based on their experience. मतलब PTC यहाँ पे अगर है तो PTC they will consider the proven clinical value of particular drug, and then afterward that should be included in a hospital formulary. The drug, it must be recognized by the pharmacopoeia. देखिए यहाँ pharmacopoeia recognized होना चाहिए, and formulary is approved under the D&C Act and rules thereunder, and the N.F.I and their supplements and revisions. मतलब यहाँ पे again the drugs should be listed over here, and drugs should be we can say that should be approved by the pharmacopoeia. It should be included. Then the manufacturer of the drug must be licensed. देखिए यहाँ पे अगर हम procurement करते हैं regarding the particular product, then whatever the manufacturer is there, then the drug, it must be licensed and under the D&C Act rule, and should have been punished for any serious offense. If manufacturer, they are doing any mistake or they are not maintaining the quality, then there might be some punishment or the offenses that should be included over here. So the when we are considering, जब हम consider कर रहे हैं PTC में कोई include कर रहे हैं drug, so at that time we need to consider about the manufacturer of the drug, because we are writing the brand name over here also. If we are using the formulary, if we are preparing hospital formulary, then we are writing the brand name. So at that time we need to consider, we need to focus on the manufacturer of the drug also. Then no preparation of secret composition will be considered or admitted to the formulary. अगर कोई secret composition है और वो use कर रहे हैं product कि भाई ये particular product है, I will not show the composition of this particular product, then such a product that should not be included in the formulary. For example, अगर कोई कहता है कि भाई कोरोना के लिए पर्टिकुलर मेडिसिन हमने दी है या फिर हमने बनाई है, एंड इफ दे आर नॉट गिविंग द कंपोजिशन, देन सच ए प्रोडक्ट शुड नॉट बी इंक्लूडेड इन द फॉर्मुलरी. देन नो प्रोडक्ट ऑफ मल्टीपल इंग्रेडिएंट्स शैल बी एडमिटेड. मल्टीपल इंग्रेडिएंट कब इंक्लूड नहीं करना है? इफ द सेम थेराप्यूटिक इफेक्ट कैन बी अचीव थ्रू द यूज ऑफ सिंगल ड्रग प्रिपरेशन. अगर सिंगल ड्रग प्रिपरेशन का यूज और फिर उसकी थेराप्यूटिक इफेक्ट सेम है, और इवन इफ यू आर प्रिस्क्राइबिंग सच अ ड्रग इन मल्टीपल इंग्रेडिएंट, देन सच अ प्रोडक्ट दैट शुड नॉट बी इंक्लूडिंग और इट शुड बी डिलीटेड फ्रॉम द फॉर्मुलरी. सो दीज आर सम गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल्स, एंड अगेन द PTC should take care of these things. Then content of hospital formulary. Governing body of the hospital shall appoint one of the PTC committee composed of physician. We can include the physician, pharmacist, which will prepare the hospital formulary system. PTC shall develop one of the policies and procedure which will govern the hospital formulary, and the medical staff shall adopt these policies and procedure subject to administrative approval. मतलब ये जो भी policy यहाँ पे decide हो रही है PTC what they are developing, and it should be considered and it should be then afterwards adopted by the pharmacist as well as medical staff. The formulary in the hospital function as a useful, helpful, informative tool in the clinician's daily practice. Therefore, content should be expanded to get the result. मतलब daily routine में ये use होने वाली है, तो we should include the particular drug accordingly, and accordingly we should prepare the hospital formulary so that it should have the very effective result. Then when we are starting any hospital formulary, so first thing the important that is the prescription writing. तो यहाँ पे prescription writing के बारे में भी information हम दे सकते हैं. Then over here the following things we can say we should include the name and address of the patient, the date, that means in a prescription this should be included. The drug which they prescribe should be written in the terminology used in the formulary. Formulary में जो भी terminology use की है, accordingly the doctor they have to prescribe. The strength of the medication that should also be mentioned. This must be given in the metric system and accepted by our country. मतलब metric system में देना है ताकि सामने वाले को पता चल सकता है. Latin terminology का use नहीं करना चाहिए यहाँ पे, क्योंकि वहाँ पे जो भी लोकल पीपल है तो उनको पता नहीं चलेगा. The total amount to be dispensed that should also be included. Then the signa containing the instruction to the patient should be clear and it should be concise and in simple terms which can be clearly understood by the patient. देखिए simple terminology यहाँ पे use करनी चाहिए. Or we can say in our country such a signa may be written in regional or local language of the population. मतलब अगर हम गुजरात में अगर यहाँ पे प्रिस्क्रिप्शन लिख रहे हैं then we should write in a गुजराती लैंग्वेज. तो क्या है कि पेशेंट को प्रॉपरली उनको जो भी एडवाइस हम दे रहे हैं या फिर सिग्नल जो भी दे रहे हैं तो प्रॉपरली उनको अंडरस्टूड होगा. तो इसलिए this should be included in the prescription writing. Then when repetition of the medication of drug is desired, the number of times मतलब कितनी टाइम रिपीट करना है that should be included and it should be clearly written. The prescription for the narcotic, देखिए narcotic drugs के लिए अगर है then they have also mentioned the patient age. All prescriptions should be signed by the prescribing physician. We have considered in the previous lecture regarding the control drugs. So over here if the person or the doctor they are prescribing the narcotic drugs, then they have to consider about this and they have to do signature over here in the prescription. Then the format is very important as it will determine the practicability of the daily use. मतलब रूटीन में हमें ये यूज करना है तो प्रैक्टिस में आ सकता है या नहीं, डेली हम यूज कर सके ऐसा फॉर्मेट यहाँ पे होना चाहिए. एंड ऑल्सो इट्स कॉस्ट ऑफ पब्लिकेशन. देखिए पब्लिकेशन की कॉस्ट ये भी यहाँ पे इम्पोर्टेंट है. इट वुड बी अ वेरी गुड आइडिया इफ द फार्मासिस्ट secretary of the PTC before commencing work on the printing and publishing it in his own hospital decide its format, that he collects formularies of some leading hospital as well as their format. देखिए यहाँ पे अगर पीटीसी जब भी राइटिंग करने के लिए या फिर फॉर्मेट चूज कर रही है, सो एट दैट टाइम दे शुड कलेक्ट द फॉर्मुलरीज फ्रॉम सम लीडिंग हॉस्पिटल एंड दे हैव टू चेक and they should ask about the format also and accordingly they have to prepare their own format. तो यहाँ पे जब भी हम prepare कर रहे हैं तो उससे पहले we should consult the other formulary also. Then the size. It is a matter of experience that a formulary which is sufficiently small, देखिए छोटी साइज रहेगी तो बहुत यूजफुल रहेगी. We can carry it everywhere so that it could be easily carried by clinician, nurses, and also we can have this in the pocket. Such a small size book can be carried by the physician in his or her bag along with the blank prescription form. देखिए कभी भी डॉक्टर को कहीं पे अगर हॉस्पिटल में हम कंसीडर करें तो मूव होना है एक प्लेस से दूसरे प्लेस पे, सो एट दैट टाइम दे कैन कैरी इफ द साइज ऑफ द फॉर्मुलरी दैट इज स्मॉल इनफ, देन सो दैट फॉर्मुलरी बनाने वक्त ये भी हमें कंसीडर करना चाहिए दैट व्हाट शुड बी द साइज ऑफ आवर फॉर्मुलरी. देन लूज लीफ और बाउंड, अगेन वी आर डिस्कसिंग दिस whether this formulary should be in the form of loose leaf, volume or bound book is a question to be decided by again the hospital authorities in consultation with the PTC. The advantage for a loose leaf, we can say it can be revised whenever necessary. देखिए कभी भी हमें यहाँ से कुछ रिमूव करना है, कुछ ऐड करना है, प्रिंटिंग में कुछ मिस्टेक है उनको चेंज करना है, सो एट एनी टाइम we can do such a things or we can remove the page, we can add the page if our formulary that is in a loose leaf condition. But in case of bound volume, it can be prepared with the cover ranging from paper and cardboard to plastic or leather binding. We can say the National Formulary of India is a cardboard bound volume. So bound volumes, they have their proper shape, or we can say the look will be very different or very attractive in case of bound volume, whereas it is not possible in case of loose leaf. तो दोनों के यहाँ पे loose leaf या bound दोनों के अपने personal advantage है, that should be selected by the hospital authorities and they can consult the PTC regarding this. Then mimographed और printed, देखिए यहाँ पे mimographed यूज कर सकते हैं या फिर printed दोनों यूज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन माइमोग्राफ मतलब क्या होगा कि कॉपी फॉर्म में हो जाएगा, ओरिजिनल कॉपी हम बनाएंगे उसकी कॉपी हो जाएगी फिर बाद में. सो नेचुरली द प्रिंटेड फॉर्मुलरी हैज अ बेटर एस्थेटिक वैल्यू, इट्स अपीयरेंस इज मोर अट्रैक्टिव एंड इजियर टू रीड. इट आल्सो क्रिएट एन इंप्रेशन इन द माइंड ऑफ द रीडर दैट द हॉस्पिटल कंसीडर इट एज अ वेरी वैल्यूएबल डॉक्यूमेंट और पब्लिकेशन. मतलब यहाँ पे जब भी ये प्रिपरेशन इसकी हो रही थी तो वो टाइम पे कंसीडरेशन प्रॉपर किया है या फिर इसकी वैल्यू ज्यादा है इसलिए इनको प्रॉपर प्रिंटेड फॉर्म में दिया है. एंड फ्रॉम दिस एंगल द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रिंटिंग इज वर्थ स्पेंडिंग. देखिए अगर प्रॉपर हम बना रहे हैं उसको प्रॉपर प्रिंटिंग दे रहे हैं तो वॉट एवर द कॉस्ट वी आर हैविंग रिगार्डिंग दिस फॉर्मुलरी इट विल बी वर्थ. देखिए उसकी इंप्रेशन अगर सही तरीके से माइंड में रहेगी तो दिस विल बी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट और दिस विल बी गुड टू बी इन अ प्रिंटेड फॉर्म. तो यहाँ पे जनरली हॉस्पिटल फॉर्मुलरी जब भी हम बनाते हैं तो इट शुड बी इन अ प्रिंटेड फॉर्म. इट शुड रिफ्लेक्ट द हाई एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ द हॉस्पिटल. Therefore, a white, slightly off-white paper we can use over here and also we should use the black ink for the definitely better approach. देखिए यहाँ पे जनरली क्या है, वी कैन यूज येलो पेपर लाइक दैट ऑल्सो, बट इट डजंट लुक professional, so and also it does not give or it does not reflect the ethical standard. So that's why we should use the slightly of white paper, and there should be the use of black ink, black color ink. So this is regarding the printing about the hospital formulary. Then indexing and assigning categories. Indexing की अगर हम बात करें तो यहाँ पे the index which is the key to formulary, it is very necessary that the pharmacist should spend efforts and put time to make the index really useful and easy to locate the data part of the formulary. मतलब यहाँ पे यूजफुल डेटा पहले से इंडेक्सिंग में आ जाना चाहिए. हमने एक ऑलरेडी एग्जांपल लिया है, तो नेशनल फॉर्मूलरी में हम देखेंगे तो बहुत सारी चीज बहुत सारी थिंग यहाँ पे दैट हैज बीन इंक्लूडेड इन द इंडेक्स ओनली एंड इजी टू लोकेट द डेटा. देखिए वहाँ पे सॉफ्ट कॉपी में हमारे पास है तो डायरेक्टली वी आर द लोकेशन व्हेन वी आर क्लिकिंग ऑन द पर्टिकुलर मेडिसिन इट विल लोकेट टू द पर्टिकुलर पेज. लेकिन यहाँ पे अगर हमारे पास हार्ड कॉपी है तो इट शुड बी इजी टू फाइंड. Majority of the formularies have a general index at the end of the text. This index is usually alphabetical order हम यहाँ पे रख सकते हैं. By generic name we can also mention, and also the cross index with the brand names. क्रॉस इंडेक्स भी यहाँ पे रख सकते हैं अल्फाबेटिकल ऑर्डर में, या फिर जेनरिक नेम है उसके सामने उनका ब्रांड नेम भी इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं इन द टेक्स्ट पोर्शन ऑफ द फॉर्मूला. सो दीज आर द जनरल इंडेक्सिंग. देन इट इज स्ट्रांगली सजेस्टेड दैट द जनरल इंडेक्स मे बी सप्लीमेंटेड विद द फार्माकोलॉजिकल इंडेक्स. फार्माकोलॉजिकल इंडेक्स भी इंक्लूड करना चाहिए. द फार्मासिस्ट इन कंसल्टेशन विद द पीटीसी शुड क्लासिफाई ऑल द ड्रग used in the hospital and include in the formulary under each heading. देखिए each heading यहाँ पे that is very much important. A complete index compiled in this manner should then be placed in the front or at the rear of the formula. Starting में हम रख सकते हैं या फिर end में भी रख सकते हैं. Starting में रखेंगे तो very important जो भी portion है या फिर that should be included in starting. Then alphabetical order we can keep at the end. Then the formulary may be divided into specific section with each section separated by a divider. देखिए यहाँ पे हम क्या यूज कर सकते हैं, the type of subdivision section could be achieved on the following pattern. For example, the drug that is used for the ear, eye, nose, rectal, throat, vaginal, skin, nutritional aids, oral products, injectables. Like this also we can go for the subdivision in case of indexing. Then selection of the text. This is last but very important. In a formulary, selection and scope of the text material under each generic drug should be given a sincere consideration. देखिए text it should give the sincere consideration. कहीं पे bold कहाँ पे रखना है, italic कहाँ पे रखना है, that is also important. The amount of material published will depend upon the goal established by the PTC. मतलब यहाँ पे whatever the things we are publishing, it costs some amount. So the text size, their font that should be included, that should be considered when we are preparing any hospital formulary. So these are some of the important things we need to consider when the PTC they are preparing the hospital formulary. What should be the content, whether the hospital they should consider about their own formulary or they want to use the N.F.I. So here as a summary we can say we are concluding this lecture that we discuss about the preparation, then formulary and drug list, then which are the guiding principle for admitting or deleting of any drugs, and the content of the hospital formulary. Regarding the prescription writing, that should be included, what should be the format, what should be the size, and what should be the indexing which things should be included, and what should be the text. So these are the important thing regarding the hospital pharmacy. Thank you for watching this video.